Welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Save a Library podcast. I am your host, Alex, and this week I am joined by Tory. Welcome, Tory.
It's me.
And
it's
Steph.
It's me!
No, you stepped on my line.
Sorry, I was doing a Wicked reference.
Hello, everyone.
Can we start again?
No,
Nope.
I kind of like it.
No.
This is live.
I don't
There's
wanna,
no editing.
I don't want to step on anyone's
In the
lines.
spirit of Broadway.
I forgive you.
And Steph, I don't know if you heard that.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Welcome back. So this is we did a musical episode all together last time. This is our Tony/Broadway episode. We're going to recap the Tonys on this episode, talk about last year's Broadway season, and I am joined by two of our Broadway aficionados, not us, Tori and Steph. So thank you for joining.
Is aficionados a gender term?
I think it is.
I really don't know.
I looked it up last year when I wrote the synopsis of the musical episode, and I think it's aficionadas.
Interesting.
Is the plural aficionadi?
Yes.
Aficionados.
So before we get into the Tonys, can we just talk about just set the table of both of you are Broadway experts basically at this point. I mean, how many shows did you see last year?
Oh, how many shows?
We saw quite a few.
Between us, we saw a lot, I think.
We didn't see all of the current ones.
Let's see.
Sorry, this
Or
wasn't
all the ones
gotcha question. You don't have to give me an exact number, but you've seen in the dozens.
Too late, we're looking at
Oh yeah, we have apps for that.
So in 2023, I saw 18 shows.
18 shows.
Yes, and so far this year, I've seen 7.
Wow.
Or 9. I haven't added a couple.
So you're way ahead of the pace this year so far, it seems.
I'm about on pace.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is the generally front-loaded, the musical?
It's generally summer-loaded for me. They'll do a lot of events. I don't actually go to a lot of on-Broadway productions. I go to a lot of staged concerts and things like that. And they'll have a lot during the summer because people have free time to do them. So, I think I've gone to 4 shows this month already, and I'm going to see another one on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, but it'll die out as the fall comes.
Yeah. What about you, Steph?
2023, I saw 8 shows. I pretty much just go see Broadway stuff and the occasional City Center show, which technically is not Broadway, but it's Broadway adjacent. And then for 2024, I'm ahead of my pace. I'm at 6.
Oh, nice.
Probably because we were all of a sudden in at one point there was a whole bunch of shows at once in April and May, and then we were trying to go see shows before once the Tonys got nominated. Yeah, we tried to go see more stuff. So
yeah, they said that in the Tonys. Is that true? Is that unusual for the Tonys this year, or for Broadway this year, to release so many shows right before the Tonys?
I don't think it's unusual, but people were acting like it was just because everything was coming out in the spring. I think it was very heavily centered in the spring. Usually some of the more popular stuff is spread out, and something good could come earlier in the season, but most of the contenders for the Tonys didn't come out until the spring when 12 shows opened or something crazy.
Yeah. As a movie buff, that's not uncommon for a bunch of movies to come out right before the Oscars, so it's all fresh in your mind when the Oscar voter, the Academy, goes to vote for all the categories.
I think what makes it interesting, the difference between the two, because it makes sense for the Oscars, I think, but for the Tonys, there's very specific rules about, because they have a previews process before the show is officially open, and you're not eligible for the Tonys during your previews. You have to have your opening, and then a certain amount of the people who can vote have to see a bunch of the shows. They have to see a certain amount of shows, and so if you open too close to the Tonys, they don't have time to come see you, which is a negative for you and might make another show win. Or if you open too far before the Tonys, people will forget your show if it closes.
Yes. Very interesting. The timing is much harder, it seems.
You can rewatch a movie. You can't rewatch a play that closed.
Right.
Yes. We didn't get to see a couple that well, I think you wanted to see, was it Limpica?
I did want to see Limpica.
I wasn't hugely
no one
into
was
seeing it, but that closed before. We didn't even really have an option. It was just...
It closed a month ago. Or Gutenberg. We had tickets to see Gutenberg, and then I got sick, and I missed it.
Yes. I got to see it, but it was a short run. She didn't get to. We had tickets toward the end of the run, so Tori didn't get to see that one.
Yeah, that's a shame that the awards come out and most of the stuff that's being awarded it doesn't exist anymore, and there's not even a way to watch it. It's I don't know. That was like one of my first notes I had here is like, who are the Tonys like really for? Because like so few people actually get to be in New York City to see a show. Most of the shows are closed by the time the Tonys even air. So it's like, who, like, you know, because there's like the Oscars get so much pressure about like ratings and everything, and they're always stressed about like the Oscars not existing anymore. But like anyone could see a movie anywhere at any time. The Broadway is like, you have such a narrow opportunity to see a Broadway show, but like I don't ever hear like the Tonys ever in danger of.
Well, there were a lot less viewers this year. There was like 3 or 4 million less viewers than last year.
Like
yeah,
14%
it was bad. And it goes down every year. But I feel like Broadway is interesting in that even though it's not really accessible to a wide amount of people, it's got such a huge fan base like around the world through bootlegs, through YouTube videos, like TV show appearances, or people will just read about the stuff and have really strong opinions online.
Or you're like me, who doesn't even see the shows, but the Tonys itself is a good show because you get to see all the hits from all the shows. It's like where the Oscars, you're watching like a 2-second trailer of a movie and then you have to listen to some like rich person pat themselves on the back for 2 hours. So, you know, the Tonys, at least you get to actually see some of the highlights from the shows. It's a fun show. I
think that was kind of you asked who was the audience, like who's it for? I think originally that's who it was for, because people would plan their trips to New York or plan, if they lived in New York, which shows to see around what did well at the Tonys. So it's sort of like, here's a sneak preview of everything. You can see if you might want to see it. Mm-hmm. And I think it still somewhat is that for people who do go to shows.
Even for just the general tourist, it's like someone from somewhere else in the country is going to be coming here on their vacation, and you know, it's the one chance they're going to get to see a Broadway show, so it gives them some idea of what they might want to try and catch. Yeah. You know, if they have like really no idea what their tastes are, like there's always the super popular like the Neil Diamond one, you know, that people are like, well, I like Neil Diamond music, I'll go see that show. But some people might not have any idea of what to go see, and they can get an idea based on the awards.
I feel like we're about to step into soapbox musical territory, and I think we have some feelings about that in the room.
Jukebox musicals?
Yeah. Yes. What did I say?
Soapbox musicals.
I did the same mistake last year.
I think it's just your thing now.
But we did have a soapbox musical this year. I would call Suffs a soapbox musical.
Yeah. It was a soapbox musical. Yeah.
But we'll get to it.
So let's just get into the Tonys. So
may I perhaps walk us through the show?
Please do.
I got a good outline. I have some information, some stats about all of the different shows. I've got some summaries for the listeners in case this is their Tonys. They don't know what the shows are about. But I am going to skip over some stuff, especially plays. Warning to the listeners: we don't really go see a lot of straight plays. We focus mostly on musicals. So we don't have a lot of comments on those frequently. Although there were some interesting things, I think, in some of the speeches and stuff that's worth touching on. But why don't we start with the 77th Tony Awards opening number, which was a song called This Party's For You, written by Tom Kitt and Amanda Green, and choreographed by Ariana DeBose and Julius Anthony Rubio, and performed by Ariana DeBose, who I think this is her 3rd year in a row hosting the Tonys.
Yes.
What do we think about This Party's For You?
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I wasn't mad about it, but I do like the big, funny, like, flashy opening numbers that they've done, like a Neil Patrick Harris. So this was nice, but I wasn't, like, blown away by it.
Alex, I don't want to say an outsider, the outsiders, but as a non-follower of this type of thing, what did you think of the opening number?
Yeah, it was not flashy. It was very serviceable, and then I said if a tad bit trite. It seemed, just kind of going through the motions. It was still very entertaining. I mean, any Broadway musical is entertaining, but I don't know. Like, I wanted to be wowed, and I was not. In the back of my mind, I'm like, did they get their budget slashed or something? Like, what's going on here?
They had quite a few, like, people dancing.
They did.
Yeah.
My problem with it was that I couldn't understand what she was saying. I did not know what the lyrics were, and when she was speaking, it was also very garbled.
I did watch it with captions on, but that was because I had other things going on
live,
in the
so
house.
It's not really.
Yeah, I try not to critique I don't think that's the artist's fault. I think there was just a mic problem because she did dip out a few times, like when she was doing flips and stuff, like her mic just kind of cut out almost.
I did see a lot of people online noting audio problems, and I think that the venue did not have really good acoustics, which shouldn't have been a problem for the viewer from home. But I think also she is somewhat of a mushmouth. That's my opinion about her in general. I also don't think she's a super strong singer. She's an amazing dancer. So I was like, well, if I don't know what the song's about from you singing it or talking at me.
Yeah, there wasn't much else to the number. It was.
I guess the song's not for me.
Mm-hmm. The song of this party's not for me. And like you said, with the big bombastic numbers that we usually get, they'll like reference the shows.
Yeah.
She didn't reference any of the the song didn't reference any of the shows. So that could have been an opening number for any award ceremony.
Maybe we need to listen to the lyrics and we'll find out who the Tonys are for and answer Alex's question.
Oh wow.
So I have a note here. This is getting a little bit ahead. This is just about Ariana DeBose's hosting qualities in general. I think this party was for her because she had the most fun of anybody on stage, I think.
That's very true.
She was making herself laugh and no one else.
She did enjoy the evening.
She did.
I haven't found her. I can't remember her like other past hosting performances. I just remember thinking like, oh, she's a good host.
Well, famously, the BAFTAs last year, she did a whole song where she called out each of the nominees for a bunch of awards, and she said Angela Bassett did the thing. Maybe
I did not see that.
She referenced it during the Tonys as well. Angela Bassett did the thing. Viola Davis, her woman queen.
So this is a problem I had with the show. So Ariana DeBose is a very confident person. She kept things going breezy, very bouncy, which I liked. It kept the show moving along. But that sort of stuff where she goes a little bit off script, she's not like... She's a very charismatic person, but she's not like a comedian. She's not like... She can't freestyle. She can't improv. So just... That's when I think the show suffered a little bit. Cause
what if you're doing like an inside, like a little... like I didn't know that reference. So that's kind of like a little...
That was a big meme. I think you just missed a
Did
moment.
I?
But
maybe.
That I had a note at some point about her hosting as well. It wasn't a note, sorry. It was a Reddit comment. Last year, there was no script for the Tonys because of the writer's strike. Right, yeah. So she had to just say everything off the cuff. And this felt sort of like she still was doing that. Mm-hmm.
And you're like, no, now we have writers again.
Yes, but so if there are writers, it shouldn't really feel like you're making it up as you go along. But you're right, she is very charismatic, so it's not the end of the world. I've seen worse hosts.
It was. She did a very serviceable job.
Sure. And the song was serviceable. The song by Tom Kitt and Amanda Green, I think I said, thank you for writing this song. That was not our favorite. So the first award that we got was the Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Play, which I don't think we really need to go that deep into, but it did begin a theme of, that I will revisit. In thank you speeches, people were thanking very interesting people. They were coming up with very creative thank yous. And Jeremy Strong, who won for An Enemy of the People, thanked the ushers in the front of house staff from his theater, which I thought was really nice.
That is nice. The
unsung
heroes.
I thought that was a reference to like the mask policies and things that they had to enforce last year, and I think like because the ushers are the people who have to deal with people who resisted that, so I think that was sort of like them thanking those people for doing that service without saying it explicitly.
An Enemy of the People wasn't open when there were mask mandates.
Okay.
So it was really
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Perhaps.
This is not going to make it in the podcast.
No, Alex was wrong. It's on the record.
Don't cut this. But I think we can quickly move on to the first performance of the night, which was Hell's Kitchen, with music and lyrics by Alicia Keys, and it featured the songs The Gospel, Authors of Forever, Fallen, and Empire State of Mind. What did we think about the first performance of the first nominee performance of the night?
Okay, so I have to disclose a little bias.
Sure.
Because I did see it, and I went to see it with our director, Jen, whose bestie is in the company. He's one of the dancers. Shout out to Tim. And so we were very excited to see the show. I was very excited to see him on the Tonys. And so the whole time I just wanted to see like the company dancing and performing. So I was a little disappointed because of Alicia Keys and Jay-Z taking away from their spotlight. They didn't get as much screen time on the broadcast as they would have if they didn't perform.
Although the Hell's Kitchen performance as a whole was very long.
It was, yes. And the choice of songs was kind of strange and how they were like combined. But yeah, the Jay-Z rap didn't need to be there, in my opinion.
I didn't mind the Jay-Z rap, but I also thought he was there in the building doing it. I didn't realize it was pre-recorded. Once I found that out, I'm with you. It did not need to happen. And in fact, I was a little upset when I heard that because that goes against the whole spirit of Broadway.
Ariana DeBose did promise in her opening spiel, she said that everything you see tonight is going to be live. Mm-hmm. And then that wasn't live.
So what was the audience looking at there?
There were still performers dancing on the stage. There was still stuff happening.
And I think there's a big screen behind the stage.
Yeah.
So like they saw the the recording behind the performance
being played.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not a musical aficionado. So I didn't even know what the nominees were going into the Tonys. Like I literally watched this completely fresh, knowing nothing. And when Hell's Kitchen played 3 songs in a row, I'm like, okay, so this is the Hamilton this year. Like this is gonna sweep everything because they're giving this musical 3 songs, where I assume everyone else is gonna get 1 song. So that was my impression. I'm like, okay, this is the favorite, obviously, and I think I was right. Right, this was the favorite.
It was one of the favorites.
Okay. It didn't really do much for me. It kind of felt like like somebody trying to do Lin-Manuel Miranda. That was kind of like my impression of it. Would I see it live? Sure. It looked like it was a lot of fun. The singers were excellent. Like the 2 people who got solos, or 3 people, because it was 3 songs. They were great singers. I don't know. It didn't really like strike a chord with me so much, but it seemed fine. And then I'm not a big Alicia Keys fan, so that really didn't do anything for me.
So I think it was it didn't do the show justice, I think. Because the show, I mean, I thought it was great. I do love Alicia Keys' music, and the performances were outstanding, like across the board for the whole show. That they're nominated, and most of the categories, I think 3 of the leads were nominated.
And 2
won, yeah.
So the choreography was amazing. The sound design was really cool and incredible. Like I really enjoyed the show, and so I that's why I was a little bit like, I feel like it didn't do it justice.
I think they were trying to feature as many of the performers as possible. So they had, the bit in the beginning where they had the ensemble, then they had the 2 main characters. Then they had a bit with Brandon Victor Dixon and Shoshana Bean doing Falling, which I think they could have cut out, but they wanted to make sure to show them.
He was nominated.
Oh, right.
He was nominated for
Shoshana Bean was also nominated.
I'm not sure.
I guess they had to show them all. So that's tough, but I agree that it would have been more...
I didn't realize she was nominated too.
I think she was, but I think it would have been more cohesive if they just did one number that gave you a good idea of the show. I do have a little summary for people. Allie is a 17-year-old girl full of fire, searching for freedom, passion, and her place in the world. This coming-of-age story is inspired by the songs and experiences of New York City native singer-songwriter Alicia Keys. Rebellious and stifled by an overprotective single mother, Allie is lost until she meets her mentor, a neighbor who opens her heart and mind to the power of the piano.
I have to also add, the show, I also loved the costuming. It's set, like, I remember New York in that time, walking around Hell's Kitchen as a teenager. So it was very nostalgic for me. And they really nailed that, I think. So maybe some people that maybe aren't as familiar with the setting and the time period and her music might not get as much out of it as me, but I think still as a whole, it's one of those shows that's like, most people are going to like it, I think.
Cohesive.
I really this show's still running, correct? It's not done.
Yeah, they actually extended it.
I was going to say, this seems like a show that will run for quite some time, just because it seems kind of like a people pleaser.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
So let's move on. I'm going to skip over Best Performance by a Featured Actor in a Play, although I will say that is the first of a run of awards for Stereophonic, which I think we will have an interesting discussion about Stereophonic in a bit. But let's skip to the next performance, which was The Who's Tommy, music and lyrics by Pete Townsend from The Who, and they featured the song Pinball Wizard. And also Pete Townsend himself introduced the performance and played.
Yeah, so I caught that on the second time around when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Again, I was like, wait a second.
His guitar wasn't plugged into anything,
but they have wireless.
True.
But then he also was like, at one point, the camera was still on him.
And he
in like a close-up, and he obviously wasn't like playing with the...
Because
then it switched into... I think then it switched into electric guitar, and he's still like strumming this acoustic, but like not even in the right spots. And then he walked off the stage.
But he was there.
Yeah.
He was there.
The visual was what mattered there, I think. But I really enjoyed this performance. This is another one that Steph has seen that I have not gotten to see yet. But let me give you a quick summary of the Who's Tommy. It brings the story of English rock band The Who's 1969 rock opera concept album to the stage. After witnessing the accidental murder of his mother's lover by his father, Tommy Walker is traumatized into catatonia, and as the boy grows, he suffers abuse at the hands of his sadistic relatives and neighbors. As an adolescent, he's discovered to have an uncanny knack for playing pinball, and when his mother finally breaks through his catatonia, he becomes an international pinball superstar. Yeah, I just thought this one was fun.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a nice, slightly different change of pace. I thought Pete Townsend was incredibly charismatic and like did an amazing job introducing the song. Like he seems like
Bill Murray from The Life Aquatic. He was dressed like him.
Well, he did say something about his beanie when he like announced his sunburn or something.
Yes.
I thought it was fine. I'm not a big soapbox musical fan.
This one isn't a soapbox musical,
technically, it's
though,
not.
because this is a rock opera.
It was written to be.
I do like The Who, and I do like Tommy. I don't know. The song didn't blow me away, but it was cool choreography.
That's kind of funny because I thought this was like the best choice that they could have done because it is the like biggest and most memorable like song in the show. Like the first act's very like heavy with the like the drama of him like and what happens to him, and then this is like there's a lot that goes on. The whole show is very like intense, and Pinball Wizard's like the first like fun uppy number is like everybody knows that song kind of. So it was almost like this was the only song that they could do.
Some of the songs also would not be like appropriate for like a live TV broadcast.
Yeah, or they just wouldn't make sense
subject matter wise.
Yeah, they would be kind of like out of nowhere, like, what is this about? Like, you'd have to really...
I get the song choice, and I understand why they did it. I just wanted to see, like, somebody have a solo, like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's
the stuff that, like, really, like, grabs my attention in a Broadway show. Like, I want to see somebody do something that not many humans can do. Like, I want to see a Broadway singer just belt a solo, not, like, a chorus of people singing together.
I think that's the... end of the first act, I think, actually. And there aren't there's some like songs in the show that feature the other, the artists individually, but you don't have I don't think there's really one of those
it's just not that type of musical. I get
I think the opera aspect, it's a lot of group songs,
a lot of drama. Yeah.
I think maybe I just enjoyed it because the song itself is just like a song people know and enjoy. Like, it's just a good rock song, Pinball Wizard. So part of me is just like, oh, they're singing a fun cover of Pinball. Like, I just enjoyed it because I like that song.
Yeah.
Independent of musicals. Something interesting Tony stats-wise, the original 1993 Broadway production of The Who's Tommy was nominated for 11 Tonys and won 5. And this revival only received 1 nomination for Best Revival. So there might be something to be said about maybe the staging or the choreography was not the most engaging.
So I can't remember the first one. That was my first show I ever saw. We discussed this on the previous podcast, if you've not heard that one. That was the first show I ever saw. I was like 11. So I don't remember a lot about the actual production. This production was amazing to watch, though. Like the lighting, they use a lot of multimedia stuff, plus the sound. It was just crazy. So it's a cool show to go watch. If you can deal with the difficult storylines, that's not for everyone. But yeah, I don't think it quite translates because even the Pinball Wizard, like there's stuff going on on stage that they couldn't bring to that theater. I think they brought the basics of the set and the lighting and stuff, the set pieces. But even that show that song in person is a little bit more
impressive.
There's a little bit more of a wow factor when you're in the theater.
Any other thoughts on the Who's Tommy? Okay.
They won. So previously, was it nominated for like score? Do you know? Like,
I don't know the particulars now.
Because I guess for a revival, you can't get nominated for those things. So that it makes sense why they maybe only got the one.
True, but there are performance awards and production technical awards.
I'd have to see what the previous one was. All the nominations.
So moving past, I'm gonna skip over another play one, but mention it. It's Carrie Young who won for featured actress in a play, and she gave a shout out to Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee, who originated the roles that she and Leslie Odom played in this production of Pearly Victorious, which I thought was a really great shout out to include in her speech. Okay, the next performance, Merrily We Roll Along, with music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim, and they featured the songs Second Transition and Old Friends. And the summary of the show, Merrily We Roll Along begins in the present and moves backwards, tracing the lives of wealthy, jaded composer Franklin Shepard and his two estranged friends through each milestone of their personal and professional lives, good and bad. The show ends with a touch of rueful irony as the three best friends at the start of their careers face a bright future, young, talented, and enthusiastic about the worlds waiting to be conquered. The semi-autobiographical musical turns back the clock on friendship and the high price of success.
This is one of the highlights for me.
Good.
Yeah. I love Jonathan Groff. Huge fan of his, from his serious acting in Mindhunter. He's excellent in. I love him from Hamilton. Big fan of Jonathan Groff. Happy to see him. He can carry a stage by himself. He does a great job. I knew Daniel Radcliffe. It's Radcliffe, right?
Yes.
I knew he was doing a Broadway series he's been on Broadway for years now.
This is his 5th Broadway show.
Right. I knew he was doing that. I didn't know he could sing. He did a great job, and obviously he was awarded for it later in the night, which is getting a little bit ahead of us, but I loved this performance, and I immediately went on my phone, how can I watch this? I needed to see it. So I did find out that they are doing a movie with Ben Platt, I think, is starring.
Yes. And
that's
Beanie Feldstein.
Yeah. Which I hope they don't screw it up.
But they're also doing a pro shot of this Broadway production. They just filmed it this week that they will be releasing probably way before, because they're filming the movie in real time, across the lives of these actors, over years. So it's not going to come out for a very long time.
Well, I'm definitely going to watch the live performance. I
wasn't sure if they were going to release that as streaming. Oh, good.
They've acknowledged it now. It leaked too much, so they had to acknowledge it. But there also is this particular production was originally staged about 12 years ago in the UK on the West End. Same director, same staging pretty much. And they did record and release that performance, so you can find that somewhere. I haven't looked for it myself.
I did look for it. I couldn't really find it, but I'll keep searching.
It's out there.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little biased towards this show and this performance because Sondheim is my favorite composer and lyricist, and his shows are my favorites. But I have to say I was not super happy with the song choice for this. I liked that they included the second transition at the beginning so that you could see the whole ensemble. But there are other songs that I think give you a better idea of what the show is like and feature everyone. There's a song called Opening Doors, which has a lot of plot in it, but plot that makes it more accessible for the watchers, because I feel like it's hard to tell what the show is about from Old Friends. But they did highlight, I think they're trying to market a lot the friendship between the three actors.
So my note was I had no idea the company was that large because you only see the advertisements with the three of them. And I was like, oh, I really did not realize there was this many people in this show.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. This is definitely one of the highlights for me.
Also amazing, Lindsay Mendez, who's the third person in that trio, she did that number and they were spinning her around and around. She is very pregnant right now. They did, I think, alter some of the show choreography for her in general to be less battering on her bottom. Yeah, turbulent is a good word. But there was a moment where they spun her around and around and around and around in a circle for an extended moment. I thought, wow, good for her that she can do that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I just saw photos on one of the social media sites of the red carpet blue carpet, whatever they had there. They were on a blue carpet, so I don't know where they were. But anyway, she was there, and that's when I noticed she was pregnant. And I was like, oh, wow. And she's doing this, like...
Up till the end, really.
Wow. It's impressive.
It's amazing. So good for them. A note of stats about this show, which I think is important context for some of the emotions that we see about it later. The original 1981 production closed after 44 previews and 16 performances, and it received 1 Tony nomination that year for Best Original Score, which it lost. So this production is really looked at like they finally did this show right. It's a show that people felt was very flawed for very many years. So the fact that it was so successful this time around, people are very excited about it.
Yeah. When I read about what the plot of the story actually is, it seemed very interesting.
It is.
I was very intrigued.
I think that people struggle a little with the framework, and the original production also, the main trio were played by very young people, and the show starts out later in their lives, so it wasn't convincing. And they also just wore T-shirts that said like their names on them instead of costume. It was a whole thing. But because of the quality of this show, Best Direction of a Musical was then won by Maria Friedman, who directed this production. Let's move on to the next performance, which was Water for Elephants, with music and lyrics by Pigpen Theatre Company. And they featured the songs Anywhere, Another Train, and The Road Don't Make You Young, and a little summary of the show. Based on Sarah Gruen's hit 2006 novel, Water for Elephants is the story of a young man who starts life anew after losing what matters most. After losing both of his parents in a car crash, Jacob Jankowski jumps on a moving train, unsure of where the road will take him, and finds a new home with the remarkable crew of the Benzini Brothers Traveling Circus, and a life and love beyond his wildest dreams. Seen through the eyes of his older self, his adventure becomes a poignant reminder that if you choose the ride, life can begin at any age. What did we think of the Water for Elephants ditty?
I thought the choreography was interesting. The stunts were interesting. But I'd rather just see The Greatest Show on Earth, I think.
Wow. You'd rather go to a real circus than a Broadway circus. Makes sense.
Yeah. I tried listening to this cast recording like in advance of seeing the Tonys, and the music style wasn't really my thing, and I couldn't really get into it, and I thought maybe it's a show I have to see with all of the staging and choreography. And this performance made me realize, I don't know if I would love it, but I would enjoy it more, I think, with all of that, seeing the stunts and the choreography and stuff. Otherwise, just listening to the music, that wouldn't really be my style of...
I meant to say The Greatest Showman, by the way.
Oh, The Greatest Showman, which is excellent, yes.
Also, isn't that...
Yes.
This is The Greatest Show. Yeah.
I think that I agree with Steph. I think this is one of those shows where it's about the spectacle of what's happening. Like when during this performance, when they raised the guy up in the air on that big stick.
And they made the tent.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I listened to it a little bit too, and I liked the songs, which I'm not like a big folk music type of person, but when it's done well in a show, I can appreciate it.
Well, when I was listening to the cast recording, it leaned very into like the folks. The banjo was like really the mix in the Tony's broadcast. You can hardly hear like
they don't want you to know there's a banjo.
Country, like the banjo.
They're afraid people won't go.
Like, so it did sound different than the recording. I was like, oh, this sounds less country folk than it did in the recording. So I don't know if that makes any difference, and I don't know how it sounds live in the theater. It could sound totally different.
Somewhere in the middle.
I do love a banjo, though. I would like to learn how to play that. Because why not?
Catch Steph next year in the pit orchestra.
My next What Am I Into?
Water for
playing
Elephants.
some banjo.
I did have one trivia from this production. It's the only musical snubbed for Best Score since 2013's Bring It On.
I didn't see Bring It On.
Bring It On has good songs. It's a Lin-Manuel Miranda special, but I can see why it didn't get nominated for Best Score. I think it seems clear overall, meh, from us to Water for Elephants.
Which is probably why I didn't get to...
Big meh.
We didn't actually get to go see it. It was like on the list, but...
I would go for free. But let's move on. The first big award for us to talk about, Best Performance by a Featured Actor in a Musical. Daniel Radcliffe from Merrily We Roll Along. This is his first Tony nomination and win. And this award was introduced by Anthony Ramos from Hamilton and Ben Platt from Ben Platt. For being himself.
Ben Platt's residency at the whatever he was just at.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Social media would not stop reporting on it.
And I only bring up that they did the introduction because I didn't like that Ben Platt said yes during his introduction.
I missed that.
Someone yelled at him and he stopped and said yes, and I thought, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
Daniel Radcliffe looked shocked that he won. He looked like he did not expect it.
Was this a surprise win? Was this like totally out of the blue?
I don't think so. I think the show is so popular and he is a big part of why people love it. So I don't think it was that strange, but I feel like he's a very humble person. So he just genuinely thought, everyone else is so talented, I will not win. And then he did. And he had a very nice moment between him and Jonathan Groff when he was on his way up. It seems like they have a nice, genuine friendship. He did another unique thank you, He thanked Sondheim and George Furth, who have both passed away, who created the show. He also, the intro to when he was walking up on stage, they said a quote from him that he felt that the theater was the first place he could be an actor and not just Harry Potter.
That's what my thought was like. I'm happy for him because, woe to him, he's rich and famous because he was Harry Potter, but it must be really hard as an actor to get away from that growing up his whole life. He was this one character that's that could be all he's ever known for. And so he's he's actually gotten some recognition for something else.
I think every actor in the Harry Potter series, though, has gone on to fame. They've all had major starring roles in movies.
Sure. I think he's just so heavily, because he looked like Harry Potter and still does kind of.
Yeah.
I know people who are nah, he's still Harry Potter, which he always will be, but I think he's done a good job in stage and screen of diversifying his catalog.
For sure.
Actually, this reminded me the first time that I knew he could sing was during a Tony's broadcast for How to Succeed in Business. They performed a number. You could find the performance on the YouTube.
The song's Brotherhood of Man.
Really good. And I was like, oh my God, he could dance and sing. Who knew?
Mm-hmm. Let's move on. The next award was Best Performance by a Featured Actress in a Musical. Same presenters, yes. And it was presented to Keisha Lewis from Hell's Kitchen, who we saw in the opening first performance. And
she was great.
Based on that, I can see why she won.
She has her story in that show is really moving, and she has an amazing presence on stage and powerful voice. So, I wasn't surprised that she won. I know everybody that's nominated is very talented, but I was just really blown away by her storyline. Her performance is a very moving part of the show. And I also really liked, this is when I noticed that they weren't cutting people off of their speeches, and I really appreciated that was, the case, that especially since she's been in the business for so long, and she was finally, she was nominated for 3 awards this season for this role, and she and then she won, and she got her due.
Flowers.
Yes.
Although by the end I was thinking maybe they should have cut off a couple of people because it did run late.
a few of the speeches, when I got a little bit bored of it, I did skip ahead because I was watching on a delay, but not hers. I watched her whole speech.
Also, a notable shout out from Keisha was that she thanked her ENT, which I think is a very important person to thank when you're a performer.
That was funny.
So let's move on to the next performance, which was from Illinoise, music and lyrics by Sufjan Stevens, and featuring the song "The Predatory Wasp of the Palisades is Out to Get Us." I was so surprisingly into this performance. Steph and I have talked a lot about Illinoise, and I won a lottery ticket to it and did not end up going. We were torn because it's more of a dance show than a true musical, but seeing the way that it's done and the quality of the performances, I think that I really would enjoy the show if I got another opportunity to see it.
I thought that I would not like the show, only because I think it would be too much modern dance for me.
Okay.
And I don't know the music. So if I was more familiar maybe with the music, because I know a lot of a few of our staff members really enjoy this artist. So maybe if I was more familiar with the music, then I could watch an entire Broadway show that's all choreographed like that. But is the whole show in the same style? I don't even know.
It is. I forgot to give the summary here. Backed by the music of Sufjan Stevens' 2005 concept album Illinoise, a group of teenage friends gather around a campfire and tell tales of family, myth, and growing up. The newest member of the group, a young man named Henry, is hesitant to speak about his past, but eventually comes to share his powerful story of first love, using a unique blend of live music, dance, and theater. So I think the whole show is in this style.
I was also confused why they were dressed with butterfly wings, but I guess I would know that if I went to see the show.
Yeah, it's a plot-related thing.
Okay, so this was in my top 3 performances of the whole show. I'm a huge Sufjan Stevens fan, and this album in particular I think is one of the best albums ever made by anyone ever. I've seen Sufjan perform this album live.
Oh wow!
He wears butterfly wings throughout the whole show too. So maybe there's I don't know what the theme is, but he wears them.
The band members were just wearing them.
Yeah,
and the band members' character names, they're named after
Sufjan.
Moths. So I think that there is reasoning behind it.
So I am not a fan or know anything about modern dance at all, but knowing the music so well, I was really intrigued, and I was mesmerized. I thought it was fantastic.
But could you go see a whole show?
I totally could have. I would have. This is like, out of everything I saw at the Tonys, this is like maybe the one I would want to see, just because I wanted to see more when it was over. And to see how they adapt all the other songs. Like as far as I know, there isn't a cohesive like story that ties the album together. It was more just a conceptual kind of vibe, I guess you can call it. So it's interesting what you said, Tory, like it's about friends telling us stories around a campfire. That's like a creative way of tying all this disparate songs together. Sure. But yeah, I was really blown away. I mean, I loved this performance, and I thought the band that was performing the songs did a great job.
I thought that their interpretation of the song was really beautiful.
So the band are characters in the...
Yes, but I think it may be in the style of like a Greek chorus.
Okay.
Like the band are bugs, but the dancers are people.
Right, that's where I was like, who's telling the story? Like I didn't
They're
know how
narrating what you're seeing, which also the story that the performance was telling was very affecting, I think, too. It seemed like a sort of a sad love story. I was very excited because I recognized several of the dancers from being on So You Think You Can Dance, Ricky Ubeda and Gabby Diaz.
Oh, I remember Gabby Diaz.
Yeah, she's primarily a tap dancer, so...
Did Juliana Hough have anything to do with this, or did she just get walked out to present it?
She's done theater.
I know that, but I'm like, this is...
No, they picked a lot of presenters who were, like, related to the topic of what the thing they were presenting was. Like, she is a dancer, and she has done Broadway, so the dance show was her. Later, there were some, like, NFL guys, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was a weird presentation.
We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, they tried to match up somewhat appropriately. Let's move on to the next performance, which, finally, it's from Stereophonic with music and lyrics by Will Butler, featuring the song Masquerade. And a summary of that show: Stereophonic mines the agony and ecstasy of creation as it zooms in on a music studio in 1976. Here, an up-and-coming rock band recording a new album finds itself suddenly on the cusp of superstardom. The ensuing pressures could spark their breakup or their breakthrough. Featuring original music by Arcade Fire's Will Butler, Stereophonic invites the audience to immerse themselves with fly-on-the-wall intimacy in the powder keg process of a band on the brink of blowing up. Stereophonic, as a note, is very loosely inspired by Fleetwood Mac in the recording of their 1977 album Rumors, which I think you can tell from the way that it is. Also important to note, Stereophonic is not a musical. Stereophonic is a play.
That was a little confusing for me.
Yes. I have a note here explaining why that is, if anybody wants me to share. Yes. It's considered a play with music because the music itself doesn't affect the plot. The music is there because the play is about musicians. It's not used for storytelling. And there's also, relative to the length of the whole show, not very much music.
Okay.
Yeah, the music doesn't drive the narrative. Mm-hmm. The music's diegetic. It's because the actors can hear the music also.
Yes, and are aware of it.
Yes.
Which is interesting because a lot of like Golden Age musicals also... the music is diegetic, but they are musicals. Mm-hmm. But this is not a musical.
They didn't want to consider themselves a musical.
primarily a
for
play.
reasons.
Yeah, and when you put this up against the Gutenberg musical, like, I learned a lot about the Tonys just, like, researching just these two. Like, why does this and this, and why is this and the other one? But it was interesting. Yeah, this is the other show I really wanted to see.
Me too.
I think this
like, more than almost any musical, actually.
It also, I've heard only incredible things about it. I wanted to go see it. It was at an off-Broadway production back in the fall that was totally sold out, impossible to get tickets, and I think it will be that way again for this Broadway production now because they got a lot of attention during the ceremony. They also were not originally supposed to perform at the ceremony, but there was a lot of backlash about that, so they slotted them in like a couple days before.
Yeah, you can kind of tell because they only got like a minute.
Yes, I think a lot of the songs from the show are not full songs anyway, though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Snippets.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested in the show, and I think the performance did a good job of hyping it up more. Let's see. The next award was Best Score, which was presented by Utkarsh Ambudkar. I was going to do a critique of the announcer of the show for messing up his last name, but then I just did it, so
you can't
never mind.
skip it.
But I just wanted to point this award out because the winner of Best Score was Suffs by Shayna Taub, which we did see a few weeks ago, and she not only wrote the music and lyrics, but she also wrote the book, and she also is the star of that show. And I think it's incredible that she...
Well, she also won for Best Book.
She did win for Best Book.
And I love the show.
Yes.
I think you love the show.
I did.
And we learned a lot about women's history that, well, at least I did, that even I didn't know a lot about what we saw. But so she was the writer and the score writer, the book writer, but as lead, she held her own in a really like big ensemble with some really great performers, and so that was impressive.
Which we will get to their performance a little bit later. But just wanted to shout out her, I think, really impressive win. The next performance, Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, with music by John Kander and lyrics by Fred Ebb. And they featured the song Will Come In, however you want to pronounce it, performed by Eddie Redmayne and the rest of the cast. What did we think?
Can I start with this one, please?
Please do.
All right, so first, I love Cabaret, the movie. The Fosse, Liza Minnelli film. Yeah. 5-star movie, love it. Why did they focus on Eddie Redmayne's character so much? He plays such a small role in the movie. Is he a main character in the musical?
Yeah.
Is he
BFC,
really?
Yeah. He's one of the two main... I don't think he is, like, in-universe a character. Like, he's the commentator, the narrator.
He just kind of strings the plot along.
But he's the main guy.
Okay, that makes more sense. That being said, it was a very odd choice of a song if you're trying to get people to go see your musical. Like, the average viewer of the Tonys is going to look at this and say, what a bunch of weirdos they are in New York City, huh?
Well, can I share an interesting fact about this? I was disappointed when this was when the song started up, but I was not surprised because every time that the cast of Cabaret has ever performed on the Tonys, they have done this song, which includes Joel Grey in 1967, Joel Grey in 1987, Alan Cumming in 1998, Alan Cumming in 2014, and now Eddie Redmayne in 2024. Every time they do this song, and I guess because you can see more of the cast performing, but I feel like there's other songs from Cabaret that they could do, like they could do a Sally Bowles song, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're thinking like who's the main character of this, I would say it's her. And like give her. Did she even sing at all in this?
They showed her. I don't know if she had. I don't think she has any lines in that song. I think it's just the MC.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they should have done maybe a little bit of a montage like the other songs, like the other shows, because I don't think they have a song together.
No, I don't.
Because they don't really like Sheila exists in like the real world, but I don't know. I just thought like that show is supposed to be unsettling and weird, but it was too creepy. I felt like I was watching Tim Burton's version of Cabaret.
And this is a problem I have with almost every performance at the Tonys. There was too many close-ups.
Yes.
It wouldn't have been so weird if they weren't doing so many close-ups.
I think they were trying to like do something there that like try to recreate, because this production of Cabaret is immersive, and I think that in person when you're in the Kit Kat Club, and it's right in front of you happening, it's probably a little uncomfortable. He's looking at you. So they're trying to recreate, like, the intensity of the performance. Because even all of the other actors, they were staring right into the camera. Like,
yeah, but it was
unsettling.
Like, too much.
And I think they were trying to recreate the mood of the actual live show here. And they did it.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
I would not want to be sitting in those
No.
cabaret seats. And I saw the show with Alan coming in 2024, and they had, I think, some seating up close at the stage. And I was all the way in the back of the mezzanine, and all I could think, like, half the time when they were really close, and they weren't even probably as engaging with the audience, all I could think of was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be all the way up in the mezzanine, and I don't have to be one of those people down there. I think at this show, I would hate it even more. I would just be like, what have I got myself into?
I do want to see this production, though. The immersive quality of it is interesting to me. Okay, let's jump ahead to the next performance, which I didn't realize was a performance when it started, but it was. Gutenberg the Musical, with lyrics, music and lyrics by Scott Brown and Anthony King, although that doesn't really matter because they did not sing at all. This featured Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds just coming out and doing a bit.
I love them so much.
Yeah, everyone loves them, but this didn't help the expert viewer like myself understand what was going on. I left more confused than before. Like, I was more confused about this than the Stereophonics being...
Like, are they playing characters? Are they just themselves?
Is this even a musical? What's going on?
Let me give the summary. In this two-man musical spoof, Bud and Doug, a pair of aspiring playwrights, perform a backers audition for their new, hilariously ill-advised project, a big splashy musical about printing press inventor Johann Gutenberg. Since Bud and Doug's research into the life of Gutenberg consisted of only a quick Google search, they have scant information about their subject and take a historical fiction approach, aka they just made stuff up.
It was okay. So
great premise.
It was hilarious, and the reason why you probably can't, because I don't see how they could have brought any of the numbers and performed them. You would have been equally as confused because they're literally standing at the front of the stage, pitching this idea to the audience who are the potential backers, and they have hats that they wear. They perform every musical number as part of this show they made up. They perform every character, and all they do is switch their trucker hat. So, and half the time the songs don't make any sense. So you would have been like, what is happening? Like, you would just have been equally as confused.
To be clear for the listener, what they did was come out in character with the trucker hats that said nominee on them, and they did a whole bit about why their show was nominated for Best Revival when it had never been on Broadway before, and they explained the rules of why it was that they're nominated for Best Revival in a humorous way.
Here's what they could have done. They could have started with that bit and then easily transitioned that into a song.
Sure.
The songs just don't, like, the songs, I can't even remember them. I just remember laughing the entire musical and being like, what did we just watch?
This is the one I'm most mad that I didn't see because I don't think I understand it and never will because
you really
I
have to see it. It was just like, what? It was incredible, but also
they've done a professional recording of this show.
Not. One thing I do want to highlight, which Alex, I think you will find very interesting about the beginnings of this show, the writer Anthony King was the artistic director of the UCB Theater in New York from 2005 to 2011, and the show was originally developed at UCB, and the two writers played the characters themselves in, like, the original versions back in 2005-ish.
I think I did remember hearing that, and it makes me love it even more, and makes me more upset that I can't ever see it now.
What a weird industry.
Maybe we all need to go to the New York Public Library, the archives for research for a podcast episode and watch we watch the recording of this performance.
I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. There was a tribute to Cheetah Rivera, who passed away last year, which featured Brian Stokes Mitchell, B.B. Newworth, Audra McDonald, and Ariana DeBose. Most of them not singing.
That was disappointing that they didn't sing, but I loved the little brief dance tribute montage thing.
Ariana DeBose did a dance from West Side Story, and other performers came out and recreated her parts from famous roles that she had played, while they played clips of her in the background, which I thought was really effective.
It was a nice tribute.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of the best tributes I've ever seen. It was so good.
Because you could see her and a live performance.
Right. This is better than any speech could have done.
Mm-hmm.
And better than just a clip montage.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this was fantastic.
I agree. Let's move on. I'm going to skip over Best Play, even though that is the award that was introduced by actually like 6 people, but including 2 football players, and Jeffrey Wright was also there.
So I just had a note about Jeffrey Wright. He was so good in Boardwalk Empire that like I can't see him in anything else, and like every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that guy.
That's his Harry Potter.
It is.
He's one of the premier actors out there right now.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. I'd love to have him on.
Jeffrey
Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright.
Please.
Loved you in American Fiction.
We've talked about it in the pod. Please come on.
And love to hate you in Boardwalk Empire.
One of the hosts, or one of the intro people of that award actually was Nate Burleson, who hosts Superfan on CBS, which we also talked about on this podcast. Anyway, moving on to the next performance, Suffs, with music and lyrics by Shayna Taub, featuring the song Keep Marching. Summary of Suffs. It's 1913 and the women's movement is heating up in America, anchored by the suffragists, Suffs as they call themselves, and their relentless pursuit of the right to vote. Reaching across and against generational, racial, and class divides, these brilliant, flawed women entertain and inspire us with the story of their hard-won victory in an ongoing fight. So much has changed since the passing of the 19th Amendment over a century ago, and yet we're reminded sometimes that we need to look back in order to march fearlessly into the future. I thought this was a beautiful performance, but maybe not the right song choice to really market the show.
I mean, it just reminded me of how good the whole show was, and I love I love the simple staging of this particular, because it's pretty much how it is in the show, just in that with a white light background behind them marching around. But yeah, there's so much more to the show. So, but I don't know what I would have picked instead. But this did remind me that I was so happy that the whole cast was female.
Yes.
They play all the characters, even the male characters.
Presidents and...
It's very girl power musical. I love it.
Alex, what did you think?
It was okay.
Yikes.
Yikes. I would have liked more flashiness, like more stage stuff.
The show itself isn't
seemed
flashy.
Like very,
really.
yeah. It seemed like very like golden age musical stuff, which I'm not really into. Like give me something.
It's really not. I've seen a lot of comparisons, which I wouldn't totally agree with, but to Hamilton, in the style of what it is. Like, it's a historical American story, totally written and performed by one person, but the styles of the music are a lot more varied than Hamilton. Like, it's not rock and rap and things.
Yeah. But there isn't big flashy, like, there's big moments. There's big moments, but I don't think there's like big flashy numbers.
Yeah. If this was on like Disney Plus with a professional recording, I'd watch it the day it comes out, but I'm not going to. This is not something I'd go out of my way to go see on Broadway. My favorite part of it was seeing Hillary Clinton introduce it, honestly.
Which was because she is a producer of the show. I would heavily recommend that people go to see this show. I found it very emotionally affecting, and I liked that it did a deep dive into some parts of our history that we don't talk about a lot.
Mm-hmm. And you realize how long it took for women to get the vote.
Like, and then black women to get the vote.
And then
after
for black
that.
women to get the vote. Like way longer when the play starts, they've already been trying to get the vote for decades and decades. So
okay, let's move on to our next performance, which was The Outsiders, with music and lyrics by Jonathan Clay and Zach Chance, featuring the songs Tulsa 67, Grease Got a Hold, and The Rumble. I don't think we need me to give a summary of The Outsiders. You probably read it in school.
I have not read it in school.
You didn't read it in school?
No, I did not have to read this in school. So it's on. Now I need to read it and watch the movie, and then
the movie is very good.
Then I will go see the show.
Okay. Well, it is a story about Pony Boy, who is a teenage orphan from Oklahoma. Him and his band of greasers, his friends from the wrong side of the tracks, and their fight with the guys from the right side of the tracks, and them trying to move beyond the limitations of the life that they've been given. Classic book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love the performance of the songs, which was an unpopular opinion.
I didn't love the first couple, the Greasers song. I don't know which one that was. I was a little bit like, oh, what's all the fuss about? But then the fight scene,
the Rumble,
looked really cool, and I was like, okay, so maybe there's other aspects of this production that we're just not seeing that would be really awesome to watch. in the show.
Yeah, up until this point in the Tonys, I was thinking Hell's Kitchen, this is going to run away with everything, and then The Outsiders got 3 songs, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, is this the favorite? It had so much production that I'm like, okay, it's compensating for maybe a lack of substance here, which I wasn't like, other than like the cool fight thing they ended with, I was kind of like, okay, this is like, I get it. Like, I was ready to move on. I wasn't totally blown away with it. Yeah, it just seemed like another people pleaser sort of thing. Like, I don't think this one will be like remembered in history, but it was fine. It was entertaining, I guess, but I was not super blown away.
I did listen to some of the cast recording after seeing this performance, and I liked it a lot better on the recording. Although a lot of the lyrics were a little, they were really exposition heavy for me. Like, the lyrics will be like, I'm Pony Boy, I'm 14, me and my friends are orphans. Like, really telling you the story, and, they say show, not tell. And there's ways to tell the story without literally telling you the story, so I struggle with that a little bit. But the music itself sounds pretty good.
So you still want to see it?
I would see pretty much any show, so I'm not going to say no, but
I would go see it now, just because I'm kind of curious as to like what they didn't show us.
Sure.
What we're missing out on.
There also is, in the New York Times, a very interesting article about how they achieved like the rain effect in the Rumble, because they had onstage rain. So check that out if you want to learn more about The Outsiders. I'm going to skip past a few to the In Memoriam that was introduced by Brooke Shields, who was wearing Crocs, and then performed by Nicole Scherzinger, who sang What I Did for Love from a chorus line.
No notes.
No.
So my notes were Brooke Shields wearing Crocs. Jen would love it. Shout out to Jen. And although I know Nicole Scherzinger from her hosting The Masked Singer.
Oh, does she?
I never really heard her perform before, and I thought her voice was amazing, and it was really good placement to cast her in that because she's going to be in Sunset Boulevard. And now I'm like, maybe I need to see Sunset Boulevard.
She is famous for being the lead and sometimes only singer of the Pussycat Dolls, but since then she's really done a lot of stage work and musicals and has gotten really a lot of acclaim and has a really good voice. So I'm looking forward to Sunset Boulevard that I will see. But I thought they did the sometimes In Memoriams can be controversial with who they leave out and how they present it. So I thought just a moment to...
You skipped one that I thought you would be very excited about.
Oh, because we did talk about it a little before. Merrily We Roll Along won Best Revival of a Musical.
My note was, Tory must be so happy.
I was pretty happy.
I was happy for Tory.
I'm happy for Sondheim.
Yeah, I was not surprised by this at all after Radcliffe won in the performance. I didn't really see much competition, honestly.
No, that wasn't a huge category this year.
Yeah.
But still, I think after the history that show has had, it was...
Good for Steve.
Yeah, good for Steve. Then we have Best Performance by Lead Actress in a Musical, which is presented by Nick Jonas and Adrienne Warren, who then they immediately announced that they will be in a production of The Last 5 Years that is opening soon. But it was won by Malia Joy Moon for Hell's Kitchen, which is amazing because this is her Broadway debut. And I think she's one of the youngest to ever win that award.
She was great in Hell's Kitchen. I hadn't seen any of the other any of the other shows that the nominees were in, so I couldn't compare the two. I can only just go by her being awesome in Hell's Kitchen.
When she was. And then same presenters did Best Performance by a Lead Actor in a Musical, which was won by Jonathan Groff from Merrily We Roll Along.
Yay.
Very deserving, yeah.
I was happy about that for him.
And he had a notable shout out in his thank you. He thanked everyone involved in Spring Awakening, which was his Broadway debut show. And then the final award of the night, Best Musical, presented by Cynthia Erivo and Adele Dazeem herself, Idina Menzel.
The Elphabas.
The Outsiders. Yay! After we just said a lot of really positive things about The Outsiders. But with 12 nominations, it was the second most nominated musical of the season. So it sounds like it was well-deserved. And it won 4 overall. I don't think we have much else to say about The Outsiders. No. But I do have one other thing to say about the Elphabuzz. Idina Menzel made a reference to Green Girl Power before she announced the award, because she's the original Broadway Elphaba, and Cynthia Erivo will be Elphaba in the upcoming movie. But there were 5 Elphabas at the Tonys this year. Eden Espinoza from Limpica was the original Broadway standby. Shoshana Bean from Hell's Kitchen was the first replacement when Idina Menzel left the original production. And Lindsay Mendez from Merrily We Roll Along was the 10th anniversary Elphaba.
I wonder which of them I've seen. I have to go back and look.
You saw Idina Menzel, didn't you?
I saw the original cast like the day before it opened. And then I've seen it a bunch of other times. I probably have. I'm going to go look, though, because I'm curious.
But this, I think, wraps up our coverage of the Tonys. Does anybody have any closing thoughts about the ceremony?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was
fine.
It's always a good show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, even though with all the the serviceable comments I made earlier, I still enjoyed it.
So you know what? I did miss some of the smaller, the other categories that they don't show in the broadcast. So I was a little confused when Hillary Clinton was announcing the Suffs performance. She mentioned two-time Tony Award winner, and I was like, wait, what did I miss? They did Best Book already.
Yeah, what did you feel about that? Like having some of the lesser awards saved for the pre-show?
I feel like you miss out a little bit because some of it's big. Like I think best score,
choreography,
choreography. Yeah, that was They did score.
Oh, you're right.
But yeah, choreography. I had to go look up choreography. I'm like, that's huge
Best book
for musicals. So I feel like
they did that for the Oscars as well, right?
No, the Oscars is going in the other direction.
Oh, really?
Oscars is having more awards, which I do not agree with. I kind of like this, to be honest. As like a casual viewer, I get to see more performances and less awards that I know nothing about. Mm-hmm. So I can understand if you're a Broadway nut, not saying you're a nut, but if you're like super into this, like wanting to see every single award, I understand. But I think doing that in the pre-show for the people who are like absolutely need to know everything that's going on is a good way to go. So the main show is just performances. Mm-hmm. So I kind of liked it.
It's nice that a lot of the winners do thank the other people that are in charge, that are responsible in production, because so much goes into a show besides just the people that are performing it. Yes. And so it's nice that they at least acknowledge it, usually in their acceptance speeches.
I think they can maybe advertise the pre-show a little bit more, because I didn't realize how many awards had been given out.
There was a pre-show.
Yeah, I missed the pre-show.
I don't think it's always been like a thing that you can watch. I think it always happens, but they haven't always aired it in a way that's accessible. Now, right? I think so, with different hosts. So it'd be nice if they like advertise that a little bit more, because some people would like to watch it, and it is a little confusing, like you said, when they reference the awards that were given out, but you don't know that they were given out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I agree that it is a good way to do that, but let us know next time.
Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts we have? I do have one thought. I mean, I liked what I saw tonight, but the whole time I was thinking I wish I got to see Here Lies Love. I wish I could have seen David Byrne get up there and just be David Byrne.
Or a performance from them would have been great. Because the songs are really good in that show.
Yeah, that's what I was missing the most. And honestly, like, the musicals didn't blow me away. I was hoping I would be like, wow, I need to see that, but I could have skipped all of them, honestly. Stereophonic was like the musical standout to me.
It's not even a musical.
And it's not even a musical. And then I do have a quote here from Jennifer Vanasco. She's the editor of NPR's Culture Desk. This is what she said about Stereophonic. It just feels fresh and new. It has no stars, but compelling performances, taut writing, and memorable music. It's innovative, it's breathtaking, it's something you just can't see anywhere else. That's a lot different from the musical situation. Musicals now cost so much money that the producers seem to be hesitant to back any production that's not based on familiar material, meaning theaters are filled with adaptations of movies, books, and even albums. Though every one of the season's shows had at least one scene that was innovative or moving or even wildly creative, as a whole, musicals felt disappointingly safe this year. Kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that too. Or some of the musicals that were not so safe weren't well received, so they weren't acknowledged during the ceremony. Mm-hmm. Like Here Lies Love was a really unpopular show, but I think there were a lot of things that it could have been represented for at the Tonys. But so much of the focus went on to the later season things that I think are a little bit boring.
Yeah, I was surprised that that some of those brand new things like got nominated when I was kind of not even wanting to see them, like The Notebook. You want to see The Notebook. I was kind of like, meh. Like, whenever I would get flyers in the mail that is coming out. Like, oh, I don't need to see that. And then it's nominated for all these awards. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh no, should I go see it? But I didn't have time anyway, so that's moot. But, so, do you think if Here Lies Love was nominated, just say, how would that translate to a Tony's performance? Because it's a experience to see it in the theater, but to translate it to like a couple of minutes at an award show performance, like how would you, like, I don't even know what they would do.
I think it would have been probably the way that Cabaret did it, where it would have been a lot more like the camera is in the action of the performance, which, even though we didn't necessarily like the Cabaret performance, it was different from the rest of the performances, and it gave us something to talk about. So I think we need more things to talk about at the Tonys. I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, I think that's all we got for this episode. We did it.
We did.
Thank you, Tory and Steph, for being our Broadway aficionadas once again. And I look forward to doing this again next year.
Can't wait. Give us some good shows next year.
Yeah.
Broadway.
We'll go see the good ones and some of the bad ones.
Sure.
And you'll be here to talk about it next year on Between the Shelves.